Okay, we'll have the September 12th meeting of the Conservation Commission. Please stand and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's see what we have. Start tonight. We have Lynn Reed, Rad. I'm sorry. Notice of intent, 720 Old County Road, construct a garage in the buffer zone. Anybody here for the Rads?
Come on up.
Oh, come on up. Just what is it? We need this. They're in there.
We got the green cards.
All right.
Just stand to Mike, just announce your name.
Good evening. My name is Nicholas Rod, a resident of 720 Old County Road. Chris is our agent tonight. He's going to explain our proposed outbuilding.
There we go. Mr. Chairman, I want to show you reference this plan that I received.
Just stay up there in case there's any questions, okay?
Transposed onto their plan from the planning board. This development actually has a 150 by 150 envelope for development with respect to open space. The RADs were recently informed of this, so they're willing to adjust the garage so it stays within the proper setbacks, which it's just shy of being in that area.
Where is this? I'm sorry, Chris. Where is this on Old County Road?
This is the RAD development. It's the former Smith property, Barbara Smith property. It was a farm. It's approximately, Fisher Road is probably up here.
Okay.
This is just after Rachel Lane
Okay.
and those developments. It goes towards the north.
Are there two houses back there now?
There's
right
two
now?
houses back there now, correct.
And then the one in the front is
The old house, correct. So this is Lynn Rad, 720 Old County Road, 720, 724. This is a notice of intent application. The report date is September 5th, 2023. The file number is pending for this application. There's discussion with the planning board as I cycle that plan around before you tonight. Detailed description of work. The owner has filed to construct a 30 by 30 garage on a slab foundation in the buffer zone. The garage is proposed at 25-foot distance from the edge of the wetland. This garage will be constructed in the lawn area of the existing home. Some reasons for pushing it that way: the septic system that's on the side of the house. They're not proposing a driveway access to this garage. It's basically for storage purposes. We do have a file number, as the chairman just handed me, with no adverse comments. It's SE 802701. So in my recommendation for the board, with the requirements to move it, I didn't even finalize it. I suggest to the board that they approve the 30 by 30 garage, maintaining a 25-foot setback from the wetland edge, having it constructed on a slab foundation with no change in grade, and moving it to within that 150-foot envelope per the planning board's restriction. That is all.
You're gonna have them do any kind of demarcation for the 25-foot buffer zone?
Do I have any demarcation?
Yeah, just so they know. in the future.
Well, they know, but yes, we can make sure that they're aware of that.
All right. You have any questions? No? Questions?
Motion to approve.
second.
There may be someone in the audience.
Do you have any questions, sir?
I do. Oh, sorry.
Come on up here, sir.
Come on up.
You need to step aside, please.
Withdraw that motion.
Just take a
We
minute.
withdrew.
So my name's Ron Solomon. I actually am one of the owners on Miss Rachel Trail, residing at number 2. And I had a couple questions when I received the letter of intent. It's
Yep.
been an ongoing, I would say, investigation on my end of some work that was done to this development. From what I understand, may not all have met the necessary required permitting and or approvals. That being some drainage that was put in, not approved on any plans, and then somehow approved. This is my second time here in regards to this matter. There are numerous pictures on file, and the change of grade when the street went in has resulted in major damage to my property. Pictures will show that. I brought in over 100 yards of material to change the grade on the property. Still have a water issue. The pictures will all show you that the drains that were apparently put in without permits are above the water grade if it rains at the current time. And it was presented to me that the road would never be paved, and it is now paved. When I originally had the conversation with one of the owners, it was stated that if I pave the road, I have to put drainage in, and so I will not. A couple weeks ago, my investigation here found out that the road was paved, and there were no permits, if that's the right word, or no approval for that road to be paved, which has now caused even more water. I don't know the actual measurements, but I'm gonna say 60 feet up to the foundation of my house. Again, my second time here with no conclusion. I've met with several people here in several departments, and it may be a topic for discussion for a month or two, and then it gets dropped off. So I have a concern with a shed or a garage. As other things, the house was originally turned, the grade was brought up, the road's been paved, drainage is put in. So before another issue comes up and I find myself back here, I have an issue with it being constructed until what is currently an issue is addressed.
Well, as far as the road goes, they only need a permit from us if it's near, if it's in the wetlands, basically near it, which I would tend to say the road is probably, that would be something from,
There's no wetlands there.
yeah, I'm just looking, you show me the map here, that road, I mean, maybe it wasn't supposed to be paved in the original planning board documents, I don't know how it was approved, or if they said they weren't gonna pave it, or planning board actually disallowed it, or they said you can do what you want. But that's not a, if it's not actually in our jurisdiction, then we have no say over the road itself.
So I believe there's,
Because the development itself is approved by the planning board, they're the ones who approve the drainage, they're the ones who approve all that kind of stuff. All we approve is anything that's close to the wetland. So the only reason they have this garage is because it's within 25 feet of the wetlands. Well, it'll be worked on 25 feet of the wetlands. But if there's drainage, that's all approved by the planning board when they approve the subdivision. So the plan, or the final as-built plan is how the property should be designed as far as, drainage and all that kind of stuff. But as far as the asphalt goes, they put asphalt down, unless the planning board specifically denies asphalt, and, I mean, that's all done in the subdivision rules. We don't get involved in that. We only get around in the areas that border the wetlands itself.
so I believe, if I'm correct, there was a letter sent to the homeowners saying they had so many days to apply for a special permit. Am I right? Chris?
Not through this office, that is all through the planning board.
Okay.
If that is the case, I am not aware of any letter.
So then, with an open case or concern, and if I am in the wrong place, would somebody direct me as to the right place to voice this, as, again, it has
I
not
would-
been resolved?
You want to meet with the planning board, or the town planner, and you want to bring up your concerns and because they should have a final as-built to how the development should have been done, which is road, drainage, all that kind of good stuff. And that's the way it should be built. I mean, sometimes in the field, you run into issues where you find the water table higher than you thought, and they have to make changes in the field, and so they'll see the planner and they'll approve that. But there should be an as-built that should be pretty much as spec to what the development should look like.
So it's been identified they are, but thank you, I will pursue that, but that is my concern.
All right, thank you, sir.
And all three of those developments have water issues anyway that are around Old County, which has nothing to do with us, but I drive past them when it rains, including yours.
Mhm.
They're all a mess. But that's not us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine's a mess too. It's the same general area.
Okay, so we have a motion from Kevin, second from Tom. Tom, second? Oh, Jake seconded it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Jake spoke up and said, yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. You're all set, sir.
Well said, guys.
You can see Chris, I don't know, in a couple days, give him a call, whatever the case may be.
Sounds like
pick up
Jake.
your permit.
Like Jake.
Thank you.
So Blue Cat LLC, notice of intent, lots 4B, C, G, Westport Lakes, construct independent living facility in the buffer zone. This is gonna be continued, is this correct?
Correct, Mr. Chairman. I would go to the 26th on Blue Cat.
So I need a motion to continue to the 26th for Blue Cat Development. We're still waiting for the peer review to be finished.
Motion to continue.
All right,
Second.
so that was Jake and Kevin. All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Dwight Silver, there was something that came down from,
Yeah.
who did that come down
The
from?
ZBA denied Mr. Sylvia the right to have a hardship in order to be closer to the property than the 10-foot setback.
Right.
The
So-
situation we have, Mr. Chairman, is that the
Shed is up.
it's completed.
Yeah, the
It's
shed's
not
up,
just
right?
up, so I guess we send a letter to the,
That's something Ralph should handle. the building.
I would like to wait till the applicant responds, so
Okay.
at this time, I would continue to the 26th as well. I did notify the engineer of our concerns, but I did not get anything back, so.
All right, so we have Dwight Silver, notice of intent, 181 East Beach Road, expansion of existing shed, buffer zone, coastal dune, Barry Beach, land subject to coastal storm flowage. Gonna continue to the 26th.
Please.
Motion to continue.
Motion for Jake,
Second.
second. Tom, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Extensions, Taylor, McNamara, Deborah Ferrera, SE 82509 708 Hicksbridge Road. 7508.
Mr. Chairman.
You guys don't have to stay for long, I'm sorry. You guys don't have to stay. Listen.
Deborah Fernandez, Taylor, McNamara, this is Hicksbridge Road. This is an extension request to file number SE 802509. The report is dated September 7th, 2023. The owner of property has changed. Mr. Chairman, the new property owner, Taylor McNamara, is requesting an extension to the order for 3 years. The request has been made within the 30 days prior to the expiration of August 7th, 2023. The site work of the driveway and the well is the only work that has been completed to date. This is kind of a lengthy driveway that comes off of Hicksbridge Road, and the home is behind a couple structures that exist right there on Hicksbridge. So recommendations, Westport Conservation Commission should grant the 3-year extension to order of conditions SC 802509 for 3 years.
All right,
Motion to continue.
motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
All right, that was Jake and Tom. All right,
That concludes our agenda items, Mr. Chairman.
so we have, two, okay, let me see what this stuff is for you.
We're not gonna-
Continue.
we're not gonna be approving
Yeah,
minutes.
that's Dwight Silver. Put him up there. Blue Cat. There. What is this? Brookside Woods.
Right?
Certificate of
Like other
compliance?
towns.
All right, so this was lost? Okay.
This is a resubmittal of a previously issued certificate of compliance, Mr. Chairman. So this is just a signature for the purpose of providing an original document.
Right, this is for, SE 1422, it was, lost of previously approved certificate of compliance that had been lost, so we're just re-signing it.
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
Alright.
This was previously for Gary Bouchard.
All right, do we have a motion to, re-sign? I don't think we need a motion, but we'll do it anyway.
Yeah, you should have a
Yeah,
motion.
motion to re-sign? Okay, Jake, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Tom, all's in favor, opposed? All right, that's unanimous, Alan. All right, so we'll wait a second for that. Let's do, okay, we'll do that one next. We have, East Bay Media, 6150 for advertising, look for a motion to pay.
Motion to pay.
Second.
Jake, Kevin, all those in favor, opposed? All right, that's unanimous. We have, Doug B. Mason, $79.08 for office supplies, look for a motion to pay.
Motion to pay.
Second.
Okay, that was Kevin and Jake. All in favor, opposed, that's unanimous. Minutes,
Yeah.
8:15,
Kept them from there.
myself, Jake, Kevin, okay, so we don't have enough people, no, Tom wasn't here. All right, so you guys can just sign these, two bills here, and put them back and forth, that'd be great. All right, so we have two last things in the agenda. One is, a fee review, which is,
suggested by the chair, the Board of Selectmen, Mr. Chairman.
I'll let Chris speak.
These are fees, reviews for the purpose of providing a little more income to the community. I looked over the fees, I looked at Dartmouth, Swansea, and Rochester, kind of compatible. Dartmouth's a little different, they're a little on the high end of fees. We're pretty reasonable with our fees, so I felt it wouldn't hurt us to come up to reasonably fees that would reflect other communities. So on the category 1, we usually, in pretty much any NOI category, a residential we were charging $175, commercial was $450. I suggest us go up to $300 for that residential fee for any NOI and $600 for commercial. With that, we were fair with our RDA fee of $125. I suggest we come up to $200 with that proposed fee. So that puts us comparably close to what other communities are. It doesn't feel to me like a big burden on applicants per se. As Mr. Chairman justified it with me, an RDA is a lot less of a review needed than what a notice of intent would be. So comparably, there is a little difference in that fee. I had them the same, but I do agree with the chairman. So that would go with maintaining the same for our ANRAD fees, which is $300 and $450. That's in addition to what you get for the $2 linear fee. Certificate of compliance and extensions, kept those just as extensions. I thought we were doing a lot of them. I went up to 225 from 200. I'm kind of basing it on the number of permits that we've issued more so than ones that we haven't. So, and lastly, soil permit and enforcement action. Jump up the enforcement action for an after the fact fee of $500, going up from $300, and then the soil permit fee from $200 to $300. So that gives us approximately $5,000, just under $5,000 additional revenue. So I think we could forward this with a brief letter to the selectmen saying these are our suggested changes and we feel these reflect to be comparable with other communities in the area.
So you're not changing the ANRAD fee?
No.
Okay, just the per foot fee?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
My only question, sorry, Kate. On the enforcement, is that obviously when there is an issue and we have to send an enforcement order to them?
Yes.
Now, is that?
If the enforcement order is issued, then you pay the after the fact
So right now
fee.
they're paying $300 if they have an enforcement order.
On top of whatever the NOI fee would be itself, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't you go to $1,000? I mean, essentially, it's a punishment. in my opinion.
No, it is.
Right, it
And
wouldn't-
that is something, again, if you guys would like to see that, I don't have necessarily.
The only, I know in some cases we'd like to, but the only reason I did is because some people make honest mistakes.
Yeah.
And we issue an enforcement order so they can work under the enforcement order.
Right, Mr. Chairman, there's two ways to do it. You can work under the enforcement order as the permit, or if it's egregious, you would have them file the notice of intent to either correct or file additionally, so that's where they would pay the after the fact fee. Both they would pay, but
Okay. We've only had 2 this year, you said? 2 enforcement orders?
Most people, when you tell them you get something done, they do it.
They do it.
Yeah.
But-
And do they pay the fee if they correct the enforcement order, are they paying that fee?
if an enforcement order is issued, they pay the fee.
You mean sent? It's
Sent. If an enforcement order is given to them and they receive it,
If we approve it,
Yeah.
if we approve and it's sent, it's,
correct.
okay.
Fees
Yeah.
paid.
So if it's like a letter sent, that would not necessarily constitute that fee.
Okay.
If it's like a warning or,
Okay.
in other words.
Okay.
So again, I think.
So you have leeway based upon their decision or reaction to what you're saying if you send a letter. So that fee technically is somewhat arbitrary if they want to work with you or not.
True.
So that's my only thing, right? If they work with you,
It's up to you guys.
Fine.
You guys want
I'm just saying, why not? They want revenue, get revenue from people that are doing wrong.
No,
Doing
I'm
things
not
wrong.
disputing that. And that is comparable to
Dartmouth,
Dartmouth, but
Dartmouth.
Dartmouth just went up to that. They were $500, but
Okay.
the reason I'd like to see it stay at 500, if I may, I saw a woman that did something in Dartmouth, and not to consider Dartmouth any differently than us, but they handled this very heavy-handed for a very minor. I mean, the woman cut into an area that she's always cut, and they treated it like and under their bylaw, it was very egregious, and it was, and I mean, $1,000 for the
But you
fee
had that
was-
leeway, if she came back and said, I'm gonna replant it. and-
Not in Dartmouth.
Okay,
Dartmouth is
they want the money.
We have the leeway, we never know.
so sad.
We have the leeway though.
But you never know.
We can, yes.
Good, okay.
Yes.
That should be
So-
taken under advisement, right?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
You never know who's gonna be here in 5 years.
So I think 500 is fair at this time.
It gives us, yeah.
Again, our department isn't one that can help offset.
Yeah, I know, we're doing
Significant,
$5,000.
right, and so I think they understand that, and I think any little improvement would be helpful.
You guys wanna go with 600, you wanna, or whatever, you wanna do 1,000, I mean, vote whatever you want, and we'll just send it this
I
like.
was split the difference to go 750.
Go for it.
We can amend this in the future, right? We can only,
Anytime we want, we can do it like, we're at the casino.
That's not my money.
No, 750 isn't, I
see
mean,
where inflation is next year.
I'm never gonna cut my grass again.
Vista pruning.
All right, make a motion, somebody, what do you want, if you wanna change something, make a motion to change it, and then, approve it with that change.
Whatever you want, second.
I would make it a motion to approve what Chris thinks. What he has down here is fine.
Yeah,
Leave it as is. We have room to adjust in the future.
second.
All those in favor, opposed? All right, that's unanimous.
Baby steps, kid. Baby
now,
steps.
Mr. Carter, I'm gonna have to issue an enforcement order.
Tom, enforcement order.
Tom?
McWigan.
Tom is trimming his hedges this weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's,
retiring the hedge cutters.
yep.
All right, so another thing I spoke to the, our favorite agent about was some of the enforcement we have open that we just don't see any action on. And one of our fees we put in place years ago, I think maybe when Sullivan was around, or maybe not, but I think it was Sullivan. We have a fee we charge them to actually record the enforcement order on their deed at the registry of deeds. So if they go to do anything, get a mortgage, sell the house, whatever, it's gonna pop up, and I can assure you that when someone pulls up something that says enforcement order, they're not gonna be getting much done. So, you know, I think we've given some people more than enough time, and I think we should start recording enforcement orders that have been out there that there's been no action taken on.
I agree.
well, what comes into play with what the chairman is referring to is recently a property that we issued an enforcement order is up for sale. It's up for sale for a considerable amount of money. The applicant, in some failed attempts, attempted to correct the violation, but in subsequent times, they never finalized what was required. So this letter I have before the commission, I wrote to David Mora, 144 Cherry and Webb Lane. Mr. Mora constructed the stairwell without any permits and did a considerable amount of trimming of the underbrush, which I can say has come back, and that to his lack of going back in there is what has allowed that. So in my latest conversations, he felt that we should just look the other way, and I, again, think that this is a circumstance where the activity was very egregious.
This is a stairway to heaven.
So I want the stairwell, whether or not he uses it, which I don't think, or I'm not sure if he does, I do still see evidence of his use of the beach with his box or his
Yeah, tell him to remove his
Rubbermaid
box with all the
box
trash
on
in
the
it.
beach with his chairs in it. I would say to the board that this letter is reflective of us being supportive, but also stating to the fact that there will be an encumbrance put onto the property with this recording of this enforcement action, and that would negate him able to transfer the property to another owner until this is satisfied. So I think the letter is very specific. So I leave it to the board for their final decision.
And there was, how about the other stairway that was built in there, that was on the property next door, two properties down, also on Trail Lane?
That was,
It wasn't quite as nice as a stairway.
but that one was, obviously, was there well prior to the owners again, but yes, that was, Dawn Tripp's parcel that
We
was
should
previously
report on
owned.
that, right?
No, we never
We
did.
did.
We kind of verbally asked and then kind of things stepped aside and,
There, it's actually pretty much overgrown now, you can't
Did
really,
they
there are nice
remove
things.
them?
no, that one they didn't, but I think nature's taken
It's
that
taken
one
over.
pretty much.
Yeah, but they should still move the stairs, right?
I would say yes.
The problem is she's no
Um,
longer the owner of that property.
Well, whoever owns it inherits it, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're trying to be consistent, Mr. Chairman, and I do agree with you. But seeing what these properties were purchased for and what they put on the market for is, I don't think they will get that amount of money, but I do
Yeah,
see
right.
that something turned him off from the location, and obviously he's, thinking of relocating and,
How about we send the new owner of the former Dawn Tripp property a letter saying they have to remove the stairs without disturbing the brush? And if they decide not to do anything, then they can,
I can look into the property, which is, not off the top of my head, is 142 or something. It's the adjacent property, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I can look into that one.
if they decide not to do anything, that's, then you can issue an enforcement order. I don't wanna sit there saying, I don't wanna give an enforcement order as their new owners and they don't deserve to pay a $500 or $1,000 fee if Jacob's had his way. Until they have a chance to correct it.
I would suggest we make a motion, Mr. Chairman, for that first,
First one.
for Mora,
Okay.
144 Cherry and Whipple Lane,
So we're gonna send them this letter, and
and CC the real estate agent.
they have till October 10th to file a restoration plan, or we're gonna record it at the registry of deeds. Correct? That's what it says here. All right. You guys wanna approve that letter?
Motion to approve the letter.
All right.
Second.
Second from Tom, all in favor? Opposed? All right, that's unanimous. So that's the letter I guess I'll give my real John Hancock
Nice.
on it.
That is, can you put it in the folder? I'll put it in the folder.
So then we'll do a second motion to send the new owners a letter saying they have until X time to file, to come see you. Because I mean, to get guidance, because I don't want them going in there and cutting all the brush down to get to the stairs either.
No, right. That's
So,
just,
so they should come, or have you meet them. That way you can give them guidance on getting that stuff out of there, and they'll be all set.
all right.
And now, wasn't there some other cutting, down the road, you said?
No, everything is, well, we're waiting for the final phase of Miranda's project.
No, there was another one you said down in the Cherry Web Access, there was somebody who put a boardwalk in and there was like that, or did something.
3.5 to 2.
And they were a little aggressive on the, Vista pruning.
Oh, that is coming up, and Amanda Rodriguez, yes.
They've already filed.
She's filing for a certificate of compliance, which she most likely will not get, but I'm waiting for that.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion to, send the new property owners a letter to meet with Chris to discuss removing their,
And that would be Cherry and Web Lane, Mr.
yeah,
Chairman.
the property in Cherry Web Lane. So, you have a motion for that?
Motion approved.
Motion from Jake, all, do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Tom, all in favor? Opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Anything else, Chris?
The last thing I want to just bring to your attention is the Quarry well. They have installed the monitoring wells for all parties that have agreed. The consultants are going to meet on September 26th. This is to perform the gauging of the wells, and that is the ultimate depth of the wells, etc. George Campbell will be in attendance for the commission. Again, that is just bringing this to your attention. The last thing I have is Buzzards Bay Coalition is asking for our support on the CR for the Main Road Petty property that was recently acquired by Buzzards Bay for the protection of cold water fisheries. The concern I have on that one is, Mr. Chairman and members, is the commission voted to sell the property because we felt, again, we didn't feel, but we signed the 61A release. This was the selectmen kind of decided to buy it at the last minute. So I don't know if the board still feels that we should hold the CR on it, Or do you wish me just to have Buzzards Bay come in and present it to a vote?
So they want us to, so we voted to release it at request of the owner,
Yes,
and then the board of selectmen decided to keep it.
Yes.
Bought it, they didn't keep it, they bought it.
yes.
And now Buzzards Bay wants us to hold it solely or in conjunction with them?
In conjunction with them, like we do with most of them.
Don't they usually come in and do a presentation?
They do. I am just bringing this to you to see
Do you guys wanna have them do a presentation?
how you want me to respond. I have no problem having a CR.
Right, yeah, no, I haven't problem with that either, but, I mean, I guess we want to see the CR and see what's in it, what's allowable activities, all that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
property.
All right, so I'll let them come before us then.
Yeah.
And, all right, perfect.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, anybody else have anything? No? Valerie, do you have anything tonight? No. Okay. Then we'll look for motion to adjourn then.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, Tom, we have a second?
Second.
Second from Kevin. All in favor? Aye, opposed? That's no one good. All set, unanimous. Thank you, Val. Have a great night.
Thank you, Val.
Thank you.